There's nothing wrong with DIYing your website or your logo. We've all been there. We all have to start somewhere. So there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't want you to look like you have DIY'd your website or your logo. So in this video, I'm going to show you 4 mistakes that I see DIYers doing and what to do instead. Okay, so first on the list is using the default theme fonts and colors. I see this a lot with Squarespace. I love Squarespace. It's a great platform, but a lot of Squarespace users just choose a template, install. It comes with fonts and colors already pre-selected. And so a lot of people are like, great, looks good to me. I will just swap out copy and photos and call it a day. But while an average Joe might not be able to know that that's the default theme settings, only web designers might notice it. That's not the issue. The issue is that those default theme settings might not actually fit your brand, and that's the problem. So instead of just using the default settings, I want you to go to coolers.co to find a color palette if you don't have one, or you can go to Pinterest and just search like color palettes. That's another great option, especially if you have something in mind. If you're like, I really want to use like a blue color palette or a bright and bold color palette. You can search those things, find a color palette and implement that on your website. Same thing, you can go to Pinterest and look up like good Squarespace font combinations. That's an easy, there are so many blog posts and resources out there to provide you with font combination ideas. And you can look specifically for Squarespace or whatever platform you are using. Next on the list is forgetting to remove the default posts and pages that come when you set up a new website, especially in WordPress. It happens on every platform, but especially WordPress. There is always a post called Hello World that comes, and it's like a sample post so that people can see what the blog page would look like. There's usually sometimes also a sample page. You want to make sure and remove these, because if someone goes to your blog page, you've launched your website, you wrote a new post about like, welcome to my new website, this is my business, whatever. But then there's also this like hello world default post. It doesn't look great. So the easy solution here is just to make sure you delete those. That's it. That's all you have to do, is just make sure you delete any default posts and pages. Next is a tiny detail, but still important to make sure you don't look like you DIY'd your website, and that is uploading a favicon. So a favicon is that little icon that appears in the browser tab. So you have your browser, you have multiple tabs open, you can see like the title of the website and that little icon next to it. If you're like me, you have like 32 tabs open, so sometimes all you can see is just the icon and not the site name. You can customize that. So if you don't customize it, it's just a black box on Squarespace. And if you're on WordPress, it's just the WordPress logo. You can customize this to your brand. So if you had a professional designer create your logo and your brand identity, they may have given you a favicon to upload, and you can Google how to upload favicon to Squarespace or WordPress. Very, very simple. It's usually just in the back end, like in the design options or site settings. If you don't have a favicon from a designer, easy solution, go to Canva, select like Instagram post or just one of the square templates. Use a circle or a square, whatever you prefer, and then put your first initial of your brand, your business name, your name, whatever you want. So for me, that would be just like a green circle with a J in it. I actually do have a favicon, but if I didn't, that's what mine would be. Upload that. That's all it needs to be. We just want something custom to you. We just don't want that default favicon. And while we're talking about logos, that's the next one I want to talk about. Using those default Canva logo templates. I can spot them from a mile away. So if you're going to use Canva, if you can't afford a designer, that's fine. If you're going to use Canva and one of their logo templates, scroll past like the first 6 or 7. When you go to create a logo, they have some templates right there in the sidebar. Scroll past the first few because everyone is using those. So scroll down, use a different one, change the fonts, use a different color than the template, like customize it a little bit. Don't just use the template as is. Or you can also just Google logo generators. There are other logo generators out there besides Canva, so that's an option. Lastly, a really simple option is just to type your name out in a font. It doesn't even have to, have some kind of symbol, graphic, whatever in it. You can just use Canva, type your name out, and call it a day. So the recurring theme here is don't use the default theme settings. That's the theme here, is change the default settings. Update them just a little bit, even if it's just changing the fonts and you leave the colors or vice versa. But you really want to make sure that your website and your logo fit your brand and your brand personality, because what works for a lawyer's office doesn't work for a pediatric doctor's office and vice versa. So make sure you are customizing things to fit your brand. It's going to help you connect better with your audience and make you look more professional. Now, if you have questions about anything I talked about, let me know down in the comments below. If you have other videos that you want to hear from me about customizing your website, your logo, also let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see y'all next time.